This is the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. For those of you who have seen these videos before, you know I've been absent for about a week. Native Americans don't go to church like other people do. We get back to our roots, get back to the land, take an introspective, take a breather, do some meditating, do some praying, and then we come back stronger than ever. Having had gone over our past lives to decide what we need to do for the future. So that's where I was at. Welcome to the Get Down. Old school, unscripted. So if you're slow, grab a piece of paper and take notes, because we're at a different point in America than where we were before. I had a friend that went a couple weeks ago to Brooklyn, and ICE agents invaded Flatbush up there. Now, many of these videos have been deleted from YouTube. I don't know why. Maybe it was the violence or whatever. But ICE decided that they were going to go into this predominantly Haitian neighborhood and arrest whoever. So, the people of Flatbush fought back. ICE left. Now, when I use the word ICE, you need to understand that there are not enough ICE agents currently on the payroll to execute all of these things that are happening all over the United States. So what we're finding out is that these mass people with no warrants and no badges and no identification are just hired guns. Basically, security guards, people put in uniforms. And let me digress, because since the rule of law and the United States Constitution is no longer being adhered to by the Trump administration, MAGA, or anybody else who is a white supremacist in the United States, there is nothing stopping everyone in the United States from going to your local military outlet, getting some boots off of Amazon, getting masks, and all these things can be purchased on the internet. What is to stop the rest of us from just dressing just like them every single day of the week and doing the same thing to them and challenging them the way they challenge us? These people that are doing this have absolutely no arresting powers. These are not cops. These are just because you hire somebody and tell them to go do this does not give them the right to violate your constitutional rights to assault you. So I'm going to say this because it needs to be said, and it has been said a couple times on independent news on YouTube, which I congratulate them for putting this stuff out. But if some random guy comes up to you dressed in camouflage, I don't care if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Indian, or if you're Muslim, if this person does not read you your Miranda rights in most states, listen to me, Miranda rights in most states, you do not have to get into that vehicle. Now, if you do, that's on you. So I'm going to tell you right now where the tide is turning and they call it a blue wave, and I'm telling you where this country is going right now. If somebody walks up to me or my neighbor or my friend or anybody that I care about with no warrant, no mask, no identification, just saying they're ICE and they're just grabbing on people, I'm going to jail. And so are most of the people I know. And that includes white people that I have known for 30 years. Where I live is a community that has, since slavery, accepted the fact that people who were born in this country are citizens. We have embraced the cultures of Native Americans, whites, blacks, Jews, Latinos, and it is such a tight-knit community. And over recent years, I don't want to say adopted, because you earn your place here where I live. And every single solitary person that I encountered over this past week that I interviewed has earned their place in America in some way, shape, or form. Be it through being indigenous and fighting this fight since 1492, being black and fighting this fight since slavery, being Latino and fighting this fight since, I don't know, God knows when, being Chinese and fighting this fight since the railroads were built, and now being Muslim and fighting this fight alongside people who think the same way they do. Now, if you're a type of person that votes on one issue and that's your focus, I'm not talking to you, because you don't belong to my people. My people are red, brown, black, white, yellow, and proud. Each and every one of them have contributed something to who I am today. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to try and interview and focus on these people to let you know that the people that Donald Trump are snatching up are actually family. And I say family and I mean it. I'm not the type of person that's going to call you family, and then when something happens to you, I'm going to go, oh, I don't want to get arrested. I can't afford this. Or I have a job doing this, or I can't. I'm not like elected officials. I am the type of person that's going to go to bat for you. And hopefully, people are going to go to bat for me. This is going to have a domino effect. So if you think that you can come into every state in the union, like Trump is threatening to take over New York if he doesn't like the mayor, please, pretty please, come here. Because we've been ready since 2016. We've been ready for the white demon, the blonde bitch, all those people that look like everything we detest in America, that signifies Nazi Germany, spewing your hate and waving your money around thinking you can buy everybody. You might be able to buy Kanye West. You might be able to buy Kid Rock. But you cannot buy America. And what America is about to be is what you're afraid of. But I digress. Some folk ain't kinfolk. So a lot of black people are suffering from what I call Clarence Thomas syndrome. And even in the Senate and Congress, you need to stop that. You really need to stop that. Okay, if you're a governor of a state if you got elected to a state body, if you were in the Supreme Court, if you were in federal court, district court, circuit court, and you got elected on your blackness, come on now. Stop with the APAC shit. Stop with the buy-offs. Stop with the sidewinding and all this kind of stuff. I'm talking to you. But I'm also talking to your white counterparts like now Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi has become a millionaire on black votes, on the backs of black people. Every single time there was a presidential election where there was someone who was a Democrat, she was front and center. And I am sure, in my heart of hearts, that she made that individual support Israel tooth and nail, even though Israel was colonized by the United States after World War II. But if you do this, then I'll do that for you. On and on and on it goes. And so everybody hailed her, everybody black hailed her as some kind of fucking hero. Well, where the fuck is she at now? Where the fuck is Merrick Garland? Where the fuck are all these white people who, since about the Clinton administration, made black people become a cult, which they are, that elected certain Democratic individuals into office who were white under the pretense that they were going to do something for black people. Time and time again, now I see an institutionalization of black people in government. And what I mean by this is that if you have a good government job, don't mess it up. Take your money and do for your people. Your people, your individual people. I know where that comes from. I absolutely know where that comes from. Because in a lot of ways, I was taught the same thing. However, when you are an elected official and you ask people to vote for you, you have an obligation to produce the result that you promised. I don't want to hear another black elected official say on camera that they got the assignment. Now, if you're not black, you know what the assignment is? The assignment was to achieve black excellence, but to bring along your people as well. Just like other races have done. The Chinese have done it. They don't leave those people out on the street and tell you when you're 18 years old you can get the fuck out. Latinos don't do that. White people don't even do that. But if you understood the assignment, then you would not be silent when a black man who was born in Germany to an American father just got deported from the Trump administration and sent to Jamaica because that's where I guess they thought he came from. This is where we are. Okay, now I don't know about you, but when we use a term, us, the rest of us, who can take our suits off on Saturday night and don't need to broadcast our wives and cousins and all that looking all rich and looking like Donald Trump. When we can put our real shit on, our combat boots, and we can jam and we can fight, we call that the get down. The get down. That's what black and white politicians who claim to be Democrats need to get with, the get down. I'll tell you who's with the get down. All right? Robert Garcia, Maxwell Frost, Ilhan Omar. Let's see, who can I think of to? Jasmine Crockett. That's a big one. AOC. Jamie Raskin. Tim Walz. Pritzker. The Get Down is absolutely positively a movement. And the 1990s me would say, it can't survive without you. The 2025 me says, it can. If you want to sit there and throw trash at Mayor Mamdani, future mayor of New York City, I might add, as a Democrat, do so. But you're only defeating yourself, because we're going to remember who you voted for. A particular person that I want to talk about for a minute is Kirsten Gillibrand. She has absolutely, positively done nothing since she's come into office but get rid of other Democrats. Maybe somebody needs to investigate her and find out what her agenda is. She's starting to look a little bit like Joe Manchin to me, because she is so anti-Democrat. And this is not a time in America where we need to sit here and pick at people's little idiosyncrasies. And I'll tell you why. Because while we're doing that, the shit is on the line. And I will tell you that after doing my interviews this week, you're going to have to choose a side, plain and simple. In the month of August, this is a ticking time bomb. As MAGA executes every possible stage of the Hitler agenda, they will be successful. You know why? Because we go about our daily day and act as if nothing happens. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do and what millions of other people like me are going to do. While you're waiting for the courts and your elected officials to solve everything, when we see something, we're not going to say something, we're going to do something. And everything right now is on camera. And as soon as we get it, we're going to be putting it out on YouTube. Where I live at, in the DMV, there are people right now. It's, let's see what time it is. It is 5:50 in the morning. And there are people walking up and down the streets in my neighborhood looking for ICE vehicles. That's what you need to do. They're looking for people pulling surveillance, suspicious individuals that do not belong here. They don't pay taxes here. We're not having people snatched out of their houses around here, because there's an ever-present resistance. Now, I'm not going to say that protests aren't good and they're not doing good. But now it's time to take it up to another level. Our First Amendment rights are being violated. So maybe now it's time to employ the Second Amendment. Everybody wanted guns on the street. The Republicans wanted guns on the street. Everybody should have guns. But you know what? You don't have to fight all battles with them. You can do it here, and you can do it with your body. In many ways. Standing by your neighbor. Not letting them get arrested. You don't have to pull out a gun and shoot a bunch of people. You don't have to do that. Words and actions are very powerful. And I have seen little instances of those working all around the country. But if it comes to me and mine, I know what I'm going to do. So what I will tell you is a fellow American, which was not told to Jewish people prior to World War II. Arm up. Understand that you are defending human rights. And you have a right to defend your person and body. You are a sovereign individual that just so happens to live in a certain place. That should not make you expendable or disposable. You have a right to your body. You have a right to your family. You have a right to be happy. And you have a right to walk the streets wherever you are in peace. Now, just because someone has deemed you as less than doesn't mean that you have to thwart through mealy-mouthed and accept it by lack of action. The reason why slavery is not legal today is because people opened their mouths and they stood up and they spoke out. The reason why we had civil rights before the Trump era is because people like John Brown, Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, to name a few. Jesse Jackson, Stokely Carmichael, James Chaney, Medgar Evers, and John Lewis told us we don't have to be afraid. If you're afraid right now in Trump's America, there is really something wrong with you psychologically. And the reason I say that is because you know what's right. You know what's better. And if you know better, you have to do better, no matter the cost. I've been living this way since I was 21 years old. This is nothing new to me. There is no fear here. There is no intimidation here. There is only, where do I go and what do I do? That's the assignment. It's not in the past, what your grandmother or grandfather told you. The assignment is right now. The moment is right now. And if you are anything other than white in America, you can't use what happened in the past as an excuse to not act now. You can't wait for somebody white to give you permission to speak, to stand up, to speak out. You can't worry about your job or getting elected again. That's no longer an excuse. Your obligation is not only to the people who elected you to office or made you part of the state legislature or made you a community activist that speaks on behalf of them. You are beholden to the responsibility to keep everyone safe. Full stop. All this talking around in circles, skating issues, and not talking about this or that because you're afraid. If you're that fearful, step down and let somebody else do your job because you are poorly equipped for it. And many of us aren't here for the money like you are. We're here to do good. So you have two choices right now. You can help us preserve this democracy, or you can shut the fuck up and get out of our way. Because we're not only coming for your jobs, but we're coming to claim our flag back. We're coming to claim our country back. And we are not going to be like you, pretending to be something we're not. And we are not going to be in the number of the devil's arithmetic. This is the John Brown Alliance. Have a great day.